Hey, it's just gone 1 minute past, so we might be best to make a start. I know that we're quite a sort of time frame today. We've deliberately put these sessions in just for sort of half an hour, recognising how very busy you are all sort of in practice at the moment. So just kind of keeping these sessions to a half an hour slot for a bite-size awareness raising session. So people that are just joining now, as Rennie's already mentioned, please do use the chat facility to introduce yourself to one another. And to ask any questions. But first of all, welcome to everybody that has found the time to be with us here this morning. And particular warm welcome to Shanci, our guest speaker this morning. I think we're also expecting Nikki Long, but I'm not sure if Nikki's on the call. Apologies if you're there, Nikki. At the moment, my screen's looking very busy, so I'm just going to introduce and facilitate this morning's session. So again, just to sort of welcome you, I am Susan Spray, the programme lead for Joined Up Careers Derbyshire. Part of the work that we do here in Derbyshire is collaborative working across our patch here, very much aimed at supporting the future workforce for the health and social care sector. So I'm sure you'll agree, a great example of collaborative working here in our efforts to try and support social care with the difficulties that we're having across all of our sort of our workforce at the moment with staffing services to meet the rising demand. We've planned a weeks-long session of this programme, Ready, Steady, Hire. This morning's session is going to be focused on promoting health and well-being and improving retention in our workplaces. So we've invited and welcomed two guest speakers this morning, Shanci and Nikki, and I'll hand over to them in just a moment or two. And they've kindly given their time to spend this morning with us to share their stories and examples of good practice. So before I do hand over to Shanci, who I believe is going to go first, just a couple of housekeeping bits for those of you in particular that have just joined. If you can try and keep your settings on mute unless you are asking a question, and we will be welcoming questions at the end of both presentations. Or alternatively, people can use the chat facility and you can pop a chat in there, and we'll try and manage those and respond to those throughout the next sort of half an hour. So yeah, without further ado, I wanted to warmly welcome Shanci Matthews, who is going to be delivering a presentation and sharing some really good examples that I hope you'll be able to take back into your organisations for some hopefully kind of changes and improvements in practice that you'll be able to make. All aimed at, improving the health and well-being, creating a healthier, happier workplace. Obviously intending so that the workforce are retained and supported during their time with the organisation. So thank you, and hand over to Shanci.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today. By no means I'm not an expert. Just thought we will share some of our ideas. I work at Morton Grange Nursing Home. I'm the registered manager. I've been there for the last 19 years. And as a care home, we've been running for the last 35 years and under the same ownership. And as a home, we never used agency staff because we always had good supply of our own permanent staff. And our staff are really supportive of our resident and the home. And that is one of the reasons we never had to worry about, using agency or anything. So I thought I'll share some of the ideas what we are using at Morton Grange. Can I have the slide, please? Okay. So over the last 12 years, one of the things I learned over the years is involve your staff members who is already with you in the recruitment process. Next slide, please. Can I have the next slide, please? So one of the big change we have made is before we actually do the interview for the new staff, we do this, self-assessment, skills for care self-assessment before we do the actual interview. And in that way, we can get the right staff to get to the, to apply for the job. And then if in the self-assessment, out of 24, if they're not getting 20 at least, we will not proceed to the next stage. It's that self-assessment gave a lot of idea about what the people's attitude and approach towards people with disabilities and to the care. And in my experience, when we recruited early days people with the low score, it never worked out. So we put our bar up and we said if they don't get minimum 20 out of 24, we will not proceed to the next stage. And then once they pass that stage and once they completed the interview, then we do the trial day. So one of the things we do is when we are applying or looking to recruit new staff members, we try to involve our team members. So we ask our staff whether they know anybody who want to work in a care home. And quite a lot of our team members came through staff referral. So the carers or nurses or ancillary team, they recommended somebody who they know or who they worked with, or somebody they have known for years. They refer those people to the Morton Grange. And if the new staff member been successful in their interview, if that person been successful and they got the job, and if they've been with the company for at least 6 months, if they're full-time, or longer if they're part-time, the staff who referred the new staff member get a bonus. So if it is a carer or ancillary team, they get £250 bonus for referring a new staff member. And if it's a nurse, it's higher than that, it's £1,000 for a nurse. As you know, it's very difficult to recruit nurses, but we had no problem in recruiting nurses, and we have got a good supply of nurses who've been with us many years. And once the interview process is done and the next stage, even before we offer the job, we try our best to involve staff in the processing of recruitment. We arrange a trial day for the potential new employees. So we ask them to come for like 4 hours voluntary time, and we ask our staff to work with them, like they do like a shadow shift. The candidates are not allowed to do any personal care or moving and handling, anything like that, but they just shadow doing activities and things like that. And at the end of the shadow shift, I ask my team members to give me feedback, and I ask the residents to give feedback. In that way, residents and staff are involved in that recruitment, and they got the final say. And if they say to me, the person who came on trial day was not appropriate for whatever reason, then I will not proceed with offering the job. But if they say to me they are happy, they think the person is the right person for Morton Grange, then I'll go ahead. And one of the questions I ask them is, will you be happy for this person to look after you? Will you be happy to work with this person? And then if the answer is yes, then we go to the next stage, which is offering job. Once the job is offered and the DBS and the references are done, when staff come for training, again, I try to involve our existing staff. So our existing staff are involved in every stage of recruitment. And for example, like after induction training, we got senior carers who are trained in moving and handling and NVQs and some things like that. So they get involved in induction training. And also after the induction, I make sure that the new staff member get few shadow shift, and they will be working alongside experienced staff. And they have like during that shadow shift, there is a list of like a checklist they have to complete to make sure they're getting used to the routines and the equipments and everything in the home. So every stage, the staff members feel they are involved in the recruitment process, which give them a bit of boost, and also they feel like, his manager brings in new staff and they have no say in it. And this has really helped us. And once the new staff member joined us, we try to make sure that from early days, make it clear to them what the ethos of the home. During interview and recruitment, we try our best to make it clear to the new potential candidate that care and compassion is most important here. And it's hard work, physically and mentally, very demanding job, but it is a very rewarding job at the end of the day. And I always say to the potential candidate that it's hard work. It's very difficult job, because I don't want to tell them it's an easy job and when they come it's hard work. So there is no surprise. And I think as a home, if you got a good reputation, that helps to attract good staff to your place. And once you recruited the new staff members, it's very important to keep them supported. Like I said, many of our staff been here many years, and I got staff who started working here 35 years ago. I myself been here 19 years and never had to look for another job, because it's a happy home environment here, and the owners are very supportive and the residents are happy, and we got a really good team. And when you got such a good team, you don't have to worry about you don't look for another job. So like I said, Morton Grange has our ethos is care with choice, and make sure the residents' care comes, they are the most important people here and we are here for them. And our team members make sure the new staff members are getting that message right from day one. As a manager, and we got quite a few supervisors like the nurses, and there are other managers like administration manager, we try our best to practice what you're preaching. Like, it's not like one rule for the managers and one rule for the staff. For example, as a care home, we say personal mobile phones are not allowed. And that is from top to bottom. Nobody is carrying mobile phone. Nobody is checking that when they are on duty. And, that worked for us. And another simple example is, as a health and social care worker, carers and nurses not allowed to wear any jewelries or long nails and things like that. And as management, we all follow that rule, because I can't expect the staff to have one rule and, I'm sitting here with the long nails and fancy nails and things. I think that's wrong message to the team members. So we try to do what we ask the staff to do. When a new staff member comes, one of the things we have changed in the last few years is doing supervision in the early days. That supervision is to give them support. The first supervision is usually within the 2 or 3, second or third week. And that supervision is aimed to give them that support, asking them whether they're feeling comfortable, whether they have any worries, they feel supported by the team, whether they have any ideas. Sometimes the new people come with lots of ideas, but they don't want to share it. They're worried that they're new and they may not be, able to tell other people. So this supervision is just like a little chat with one of the managers, either myself or the admin manager or the duty manager, and we will sit and have a little chat. And then, if they got any training needs or any ideas to share, that all will be discussed there. And then if we feel that staff member need more support, that will be arranged. For example, they had all the induction training, but some people may need additional training on moving and handling, or they might need additional training on dementia support. Then we'll make sure that they get that support. And this supervision has helped us to identify any of the sort of issues in the early days itself. And then as a care home, we used to do quarterly meeting for the staff, but I realized that sometimes doing meeting 3 monthly is too late. If they got a problem. And also we used to have like a big staff meeting, and everybody come to the staff meeting and everybody sat there quiet. So we changed it to small team meetings. So we got 3 units, and we do Willows, every team, like in the 3 unit, Willows, Poplars and Beaches, we have a monthly meeting, and only staff in that unit come to that meeting. And I've noticed the staff are a lot more open, and they talk a lot more when it's their own team. And we talk about residents, we talk about equipments needed or any training, everything. Staff are much more open and confident to talk in small teams. Another thing we do is like regular appraisals and supervision. Everybody get at least 4 meetings with manager in a year. That is planned, and everybody get that. But there are some people who will get more if they need more support. One of the things, when I was a staff member, I wanted my manager to be available. if I had a doubt or if I needed some help. And that's what I try to do as a manager. And I'm here long hours, like the nurses and carers, 12-hour shift, and I'm available for them anytime they need. And if they are busy, if they're struggling, we do not hesitate to go out and help, whether it is sitting with a resident who is distressed or washing pots or assisting somebody to have their meal. We do work with the staff, and I think that gives them that big boost that we are in it together. Another thing is like what worked for me. I mean, somebody asked me the other day, how are you managing without having any agency staff? And I said to them, I help them to help us. Because when I'm doing the rota, I try my best to support them with their childcare needs, or if they got hospital appointments, or if they got some events which they need one day off, and I try my best to help them. And in that way, they get their day off. Plus, they can go to these appointments without worrying about losing an annual leave and things like that. So when we need help, they're more than happy to help us. And we have lots of staff working in different roles with young kids. But we, like I said, we try our best to fit around, and that has helped. It can be a bit painful when you're doing the rota, but at the end of the day, it works. In long term, it worked better for us. And we have created job roles to fill the gaps. For example, meal times are very busy times, and the carers get really busy. And as you know, we are a dementia home, and we got lots of people who need support during meal time. So we have created additional roles called breakfast carer, that is 7 till 2. So there is extra support to do breakfast and lunchtime. And then we created a lunchtime role that is 11 till 2. So that is a perfect role for people whose children are in school, so they can drop the kids off and they come to work, and they can go home after 2 o'clock, so they can pick the kids up. And when we were doing, dementia behavior and accidents and things, we noticed towards evening, obviously, it get really busy and some Down syndrome. So we created another role called tea time assistant, which is 4 till 8. And the beauty of that role is the best, timing for young people who work, who are in college or during A levels. And we got quite a few young people who joined that team, and then they became permanent staff member once they finished the college or A levels. So 4 till 8, they come and help with the tea, assisting residents with meals, and then after that, playing games or taking them for a walk or just sitting with them. So it's like I said, we look at what was the problem, and then we try to fix that problem in the best possible way. At Morton Grange, one of the best thing is we are a nursing home, but we are a training center as well. So we don't have to rely on anyone else to do the training. We are Pearson and Excel accredited training center. So all our staff can do level 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And we do that training for free. And once they get the qualification, they get a pay rise. For example, if somebody will, come with level 2, if a staff member without any qualification, if they're starting on £9, somebody with level 2 will get at least £9.25. And the same way, like existing staff, if they get level 3 or level 2 or level 3, as they get each qualification, they get a pay rise. So the staff are really keen there is also progression chances are there, and people are very keen to do training. And promotion is another thing. We have different levels of staff member. Like, as I said, there is mealtime assistant, then there is care assistant, senior carers, team leaders. So people can see they can progress. And all my 5 team leaders, they started as senior carers. And I got senior carers who are NVQ assessors. But one of the girls started as a cleaner, and then she wanted to try care. So we are very keen to promote people if they are passionate, if they want to be promoted, and we can provide that training, and they can see people are not stagnant, they are getting, going up the ladder, which helps the staff to, it helps to retain the staff. As a home, we try our best to reward staff for their hard work.
Just sorry to interrupt you, Shan. Just another sort of 30 seconds, a minute, just to wrap up. I'm just really conscious this is some fine examples here that people will be hopefully getting in touch with you after to find out more about. But I want to make sure that we give Nikki, you know, a good sort of 10 minutes as well. So thank you so much.
Okay, so last but not least, like nominating staff for awards, parents, which already covered, taking them out for meals and gift, you know, like when they're doing something special, give them a box of chocolate or something, personal emails, letters, not just generic emails, but personal letters to the staff. And we have a monthly newsletter, put comments in there for their achievement or if they have a baby, and giving bonuses, that all help. And then another thing we do is keep in touch with the staff. If they're off sick or if they had a bereavement, you know, keeping in touch, sending them an email so they feel they're valued and they're important to us. And everybody is treated with, you know, fairly. And one last, probably one of the most important thing is, like if, as a manager, we try to lead by example. Like if you made a mistake, let them know you made a mistake and be open and, you know, apologetic. And I don't know, many, like we do keep a list of good leavers and bad leavers. And if somebody left for whatever reason, and if they're a good leaver, if they want to come back, we will promote them, you know, we will encourage them to come back. And that gives a lot of message to your existing team. And that has worked really well. But again, like I said, if they're a bad leaver, well, then we will not have them. I'll just give you one last feedback. This is one of the staff who left from our care home. And she was a good leaver. She came back, and her you know, one of the feedback was that she's so happy to be back at Morton Grange family, and she said it was the best decision. So these measures work for us. You may be able to try some of it, like, you know, staff referral scheme and nominating staff for awards and promotions and things.
Thank you so much, Shanci. I'm so sorry to have to cut you short there, because this is so wonderful to hear. Please do take a look at the chat. There's lots of comments in there and questions for you, Shanci. I'm going to hand over to Nikki now. Thank you very much.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so up to registered manager, and I originally trained as an occupational therapist. And I have worked closely with Skills for Care for a number of years now, and I started to raise a key point that is very close to my heart, and that is, how do we work with people who have long COVID, i.e. me and loads of other people. I'm on a number of forums and groups where there are nurses and managers and people who used to be able to do these 12, 18-hour shifts, always being there for their staff, always going above and beyond, and to the point of actually burning themselves out. Now saying, actually, I'm not well, but my passion, my heart is still in the sector. How can I work within the sector? I've come up against barriers. I've come up against, no, you've got to be able to work a 40-hour week. No, you have to be full-time. I even applied as a senior carer, and I was told, brilliant, but you've got to be able to work a 12-hour shift. I went, no. With long COVID, we can't. We can work 4 hours, 2 hours here and there. We need flexibility, and we need employers and the whole of the sector to actually think a little bit more about how we're going to support these amazing people who work their socks off through COVID, who are passionate, and not write them off. I've seen nurses being medically signed off by the NHS because they can't work a normal nursing shift. Now, this is, for me, it's so frustrating, because we are always recruiting in the care sector, and we are letting go of some amazing people because they don't fit the models of the businesses that people have. So I do love the idea of having small hours and having flexibility. I'm currently managing an extra care scheme, and they are being amazing with me. It's a 20-hour week. My whole care team know my care plan. I have my own care plan, so they know what to do if I'm sick or poorly or need to go into hospital. And it's come across to me that a lot of my staff actually need a care plan. because they all have their own health issues, they all have their own mental health issues, and they all have their own work-life balance we've got to achieve somehow. If we keep on expecting people to work 40, 60 hours a week, we are going to lose more and more people who are just so engaged in the sector and driven to achieve outstanding. And I found it very disheartening that it was such a battle to try and return to part-time work and not to be forced into that full-time hours. I'm being really good. I'm having to be, because my old habit is just to jump in with both feet and fix every problem straight away, as most managers do. But I just want to open up the question of how could your business support some of those people who are amazing, work 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week? Because for me, my 20 hours at work are probably more efficient than what my 40 hours used to be. Because when I'm at work, I've got the energy and I safeguard that. I make sure that that is my sole purpose when I'm at work. When I was doing 40, 60, even 80-hour weeks in COVID, there was a lot of time that maybe I was actually, oh, do you know what, I'm tired. I'm not giving 100%. So we really do need to rethink about the dynamics of these old-fashioned shift patterns, these working patterns, the demands on the human body itself. My team fully accept that I can't go and do hands-on care, but if there's a problem, I'll get it fixed. If there's an issue, I will look at it and problem solve it. So it's everybody understanding limitations of individuals and working with their strengths rather than just looking at the weaknesses. For me, my team look at me every day and go, yeah, no, Nick, you're all right today, or no, you're not, you need to go home, you need to rest. And having their support and me supporting them is one of the most amazing things that I've actually experienced, because what I've realized is over the years is your care staff are just as, if not more important than your customers. Your customers will not receive great, outstanding care if your staff aren't supported, cared and loved. But you can't do that if you're burnt out. So my question to you all is, how are you going to bring this and help all these people who are trying to find their way back into work, trying to find health, trying to find a life and pacing themselves? How are you going to do that? And I would love to see some of your answers. I would love to see if as a sector we could actually help people return back to work. And it's not just people with long COVID, it's people with MS and other long-term health conditions. So yeah, these are some good questions, Nikki, but I'm looking for action and answers if that would be at all possible from you guys. We need some out of the box thinking, and then our recruitment should be an awful lot easier. Just by going, yeah, you've got to be able to work a morning, you've got to be able to work an evening shift or a night. Let's break it down. I offered one of the residential homes, just call me if someone calls in sick and I'll come in and do a 2-hour morning shift and get you through the crazy. No, it wasn't enough. I had to do a 6-hour shift minimum. We're missing something. Trialing 4 hours a day. I got paid to do it. I didn't have to trial it, because when I'm committed, as anybody who loves the sector is, because you come in and you literally adore the role, it's about understanding that you've got to respect them and go, right, come in, how about we do an hourly rate and we'll see how you go. Don't disempower them by going, well, come in and we'll see how it gets on. Pay them for what they're worth. Even my carers, I will pay them if they are amazing, and I will pay them to come in at critical times when we need that help and support. And it doesn't have to be morning and lunch. This whole ethos of shifts, somehow there's got to be a difference. We have to make changes to the sector. Flexibility is key, but it's also about establishing work patterns. Do we actually model a person to work with a specific client where they can work flexibly with each other? in domiciliary and residential care, that should work as a process. It's like the old key worker concept, but there's got to be something more we can be doing in recruiting. And if we treat people right once you've got them, as we've said, they will not leave you, they will stay, and they will actually bring more people to work for you who maybe never looked at working in the sector before. But we've got a massive wave of people who are actually falling out of the sector because of health, and that's sad. So I'm open to questions. Sorry, my voice is getting weaker now. Has anyone got any key questions? I've been seeing a few flash up. Let me see.
Thank you so much, Nikki. While you're just taking a moment just to have a look at the chat, that, you know, both extremely passionate and powerful presentations that we've seen this morning. I hope the attendees on the call this morning have been inspired. I'm sure they have. And I think the takeaway and the ask for you, as Nikki's alluded to, is you know, to challenge yourself, for you to go away and think about what is reasonably practicable in your organisation that will help you take steps to improving the workplace by having a sort of a healthier and happier well-being, whether that's kind of reviewing your sort of flexible working practices, etc. All of these events that we are putting on this week are all building blocks with the sort of the end point being, well, not the end point, but the next step being that we are going to be working with Indeed to have a live recruitment session